CMA supplement. CMA, zinc monomethionine aspartate, magnesium aspartate and vitamin B6 is a supplement used primarily by athletes, gymnasts, and bodybuilders. It was developed by Victor Conte, founder of Balco Laboratories in Burlingame, California. No high-quality scientific study has found it to have any beneficial effects in muscle building or strength, and the International Society of Sports Nutrition and the Australian Institute of Sport regard it as having no clear benefits. The original CMA formula is composed of zinc monomethionine and aspartate 30 mg, magnesium aspartate 450 mg, and vitamin B6 as pyridoxine hydrochloride 10.5 mg. A bottle of CMA formula. According to the label directions, CMA should be taken 30 to 60 minutes prior to bedtime and on an empty stomach to help synchronize absorption with sleep. Also, the product should not be taken with foods or supplements containing calcium because calcium blocks the absorption of zinc. Since CMA is not a patented formula, other manufacturers can produce supplements using the original CMA formula. However, as CMA is a registered trademark of Snack Nutrition, Snack Systems Inc., other manufacturers can only brand a product as CMA, or use the term in marketing, when they have been licensed to do so by Snack Nutrition. A number of manufacturers take the original CMA formula and seek to enhance it with added ingredients. Snack Nutrition itself has ZMA5 ZMA formula with 5-hydroxytryptophan, marketed as a sleep enhancer, and ZMA Nightcap, ZMA-based proprietary blend with 5-hydroxytryptophan, marketed as an
stellar. They consume so much energy, they can play with stars. That's, for example, the Federation of Planets in Star Trek. Star Trek would represent the typical Type 2 civilization. Then we have Type 3, which is galactic, like the Board, or Independence Day, or the Empire of the Empire Strikes Back. That is a Type 3 civilization, which is truly galactic. Now, by the time you reach Type 2, you are immortal. Nothing known to science can destroy a Type 2 civilization. Comets, meteors, earthquakes, even a supernova. A Type 2 civilization would be able to survive even a supernova. The danger is the transition between Type 0 and Type 1. And that's where we are today. And dimensional gateways. To understand antimatter, the fourth dimension, you need the most advanced physics there is, which is string theory. And so I thought to myself, wow!
Zinc. Zinc is a chemical element with the symbol Zn and atomic number 30. Zinc is a slightly brittle metal at room temperature and has a silvery grayish appearance when oxidation is removed. It is the first element in group 12 IIB of the periodic table. In some respects, zinc is chemically similar to magnesium. Both elements exhibit only one normal oxidation state +2, and the Zn2+ and Mg2+ ions are of similar size. Note 1, zinc is the 24th most abundant element in Earth's crust and has 5 stable isotopes. The most common zinc ore is sphalerite zinc blend, a zinc sulfide mineral. The largest workable lodes are in Australia, Asia, and the United States. Zinc is refined by froth flotation of the ore, roasting, and final extraction using electricity, electrowinning. Zinc, 30, Cn, zinc, appearance silver gray. Standard atomic weight AR, STD, Zn. 65.382. Zinc in the periodic table up pointing arrow. Cn down pointing arrow. CD copper left pointing arrow, zinc right pointing arrow, gallium. Atomic number Z, 30. Group 12. Period 4. Block D block. Electron configuration AR 3D10 4s 2. Electrons per shell 2, 8, 18, 2. Physical properties. Phase at STP solid. Melting point 692.68 K, 419.53 degrees Celsius, 787.15 degrees Fahrenheit. Boiling point 1180 K, 907 degrees Celsius, 1665 degrees Fahrenheit. Density, near R, T. 7.14 grams per centimeter 3 when liquid, at M, P. 6.57 grams per centimeter 3. Heat of fusion 7.32 kilojoules per mole. Heat of vaporization 115 kilojoules.
I can merge the two great loves of my life. So, the internet is the beginning of a Type 1 telephone system. A planetary telephone system. So we're privileged to be alive to witness the birth of Type 1 technology, a planetary telephone system. What is English? English is the beginning of a Type 1 language. Everywhere I go around the earth, people speak English because that's the lingua franca of science, technology, business. They all speak English. It is the number one second language on the planet Earth. And what is the European Union? The European Union is the beginning of a Type 1 economy. And how come these European countries, which have slaughtered each other ever since the ice melted 10,000 years ago, how come they have banded together, put aside their differences to create the European Union? Well, to compete with us. And who are we? We are NAFTA. So we're beginning to see the beginning of a Type 1 economy as well. Then we're beginning to see the beginning of a Type 1 culture. Everywhere I go, you turn on the radio. What do you hear? Rock and roll. You hear rap music. You hear youth music. Youth music is now planetary. Knows no boundaries around the planet Earth. Everywhere I go, I see high fashion. Chanel, Gucci bags. We're producing the birth of a planetary fashion. Also sports. Take a look at the Olympics. Take a look at soccer. We're seeing the beginning of a tribal initiation rite called sports being turned into a planetary initiation rite that unifies the entire planet. So whenever I open the newspaper, every headline I see in the newspaper points to the birth pangs of a Type 1 civilization in formation. However, every time I open the newspaper, I also see the opposite trend as well. One is terrorism. Terrorism, in some sense, is a reaction against the creation of a Type 1 civilization. Now, most terrorists cannot articulate this. They don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. But what they're reacting to is not modernism. What they're reacting to is the fact that we're headed toward a multicultural, tolerant, scientific society. And that's what they don't want. They don't want science. They want a theocracy. They don't want multiculturalism. They want monoculturalism. So instinctively, they don't like the march toward a Type 1 civilization. Now, which tendency will win? I don't know. But I hope that we emerge as a Type 1 civilization. Now, in outer space, we look for signs for our intelligent life in outer space. So far, we find none. Civilizations like Type 1 should be commonplace in the galaxy. Some people assume, therefore, that Type 0 civilizations are rather common. But only a few of them make it to Type 1. Because that society, for the first time in its history, has the ability to commit planetary suicide. So maybe that's the reason why we don't see aliens in outer space. Maybe they never made it. Maybe one day when we have starships and visit them, we'll see atmospheres that are irradiated because they had a nuclear war. Atmospheres too hot to sustain life because they had a runaway greenhouse effect. Maybe when we go in outer space, we'll see the corpses of Type 1 civilizations that never quite made it. Who knows? A rotating universe, and you go with the flow. You go around the universe as it rotates. You can come back into the past.
Magnesium. Magnesium is a chemical element with the symbol Mg and atomic number 12. It is a shiny gray solid which bears a close physical resemblance to the other 5 elements in the second column, group 2, or alkaline earth metals, of the periodic table. All group 2 elements have the same electron configuration in the outer electron shell and a similar crystal structure. Magnesium, 12 mg. Magnesium. Pronunciation per meter anism, magnesium. Appearance shiny gray solid. Standard 24.304. When liquid, at m. This element is produced in large, aging stars from the sequential addition of 3 helium nuclei to a carbon nucleus. When such stars explode as supernovas, much of the magnesium is expelled into the interstellar medium where it may recycle into new star systems. Magnesium is the 8th most abundant element in the Earth's crust and the 4th most common element in the Earth after iron, oxygen and silicon, making up 13% of the planet's mass and a large fraction of the planet's mantle. It is the 3rd most abundant element dissolved in seawater, after sodium and chlorine. Electrical resistivity 43.9 nano-ohms m at 20 degrees Celsius. Magnetic ordering paramagnetic.
So simply walking around a circle, they would apply here. But if you would like to call in and talk with Dr. Kaku, here are the numbers. 202 is the area code. If you live in the East or Central Time Zone, 737-0001 is the number for you to call. Those of you in the Mountain and Pacific Time Zones, 202-737-0002. You can also send us an email at booktv@cspan.org. We will be live with Dr. Kaku for the next 3 hours. Doctor, you write in your book Hyperspace. First of all, what is hyperspace? Hyperspace is dimensions beyond the visible universe. Everybody knows the universe is expanding. But then the question is, what is the universe expanding into? The universe, we think, is expanding into another dimension. So think of a balloon. If you have a bug on a balloon, the bug would say, well, my balloon is expanding. I can measure the rate at which the balloon expands. But then you ask the bug, well, what are you expanding into? And the bug will say, I don't know. The balloon is all there is. The universe is the balloon. So what is the balloon expanding into? Well, obviously the 3rd dimension. We think our balloon is expanding into 11-dimensional hyperspace. Now get your head around that. We're way beyond the 4th dimension. We think that the instant of creation was basically a quantum fluctuation in 11-dimensional hyperspace. Why 11? It turns out if you construct a universe of 13, 15 dimensions, the universe is mathematically unstable. The mathematics shows that these universes topple down to 11 dimensions. You can't escape it. String theory is the only theory which selects its own dimensionality. You can write Newton's laws in any dimension you want. You can write Einstein's equation in any dimension you want. But why do we exist in 3 dimensions? For the first time in history, we now have a theory which actually selects its own dimensionality. Because these other dimensions are unstable. And then 11 dimensions, we think, ultimately collapses down to... The loophole is that billions, trillions of years from now will be so advanced that as the universe dies, we will leave the universe. We will leave our bubble, have a lifeboat, and then go to another neighborhood.
Vitamin B6. Vitamin B6 is one of the B vitamins, and thus an essential nutrient. The term refers to a group of chemically similar compounds, vitamers, which can be interconverted in biological systems. Its active form, pyridoxal 5-phosphate, serves as a coenzyme in some 100 enzyme reactions in amino acid, glucose, and lipid metabolism. Vitamin B6. Drug class. Pyridoxal phosphate, the metabolic... Absorbed pyridoxamine is converted to PMP by pyridoxal kinase, which is further converted to PLP by pyridoxamine phosphate transaminase or pyridoxine 5-phosphate oxidase, which also catalyzes the conversion of PNP to PLP. Pyridoxine 5-phosphate oxidase is dependent on flavin mononucleotide FMN as a cofactor produced from riboflavin, vitamin B2. Pyridoxine PN, the form most commonly given is vitamin B6 supplement. Pyridoxine 5-phosphate P5P. Pyridoxal place. Pyridoxal 5-phosphate PLP, the metabolically active form. Pyridoxamine PM. Pyridoxamine 5-phosphate PMP. 4-pyridoxic acid PA, the catabolite which is excreted in urine. pyridinol, pyridoxamine, pyridoxal. All forms except pyridoxic acid and pyridinol can be interconverted.
Bubble and start all over again. So in other words, this is simple, very elegant, very mathematical, and it couldn't have been an accident. He said to himself that, look, we are like children entering this huge library, this cavernous library. All we can do is take the first book, open up and read the first page of this first book of this cavernous library. And so he said that he believed in the God of order, the God of simplicity and harmony. And in hyperspace, you write, when scientists use the word God, they usually mean the God of order. However, to the non-scientists, the word God almost universally refers to the God of miracles. And this is a source of miscommunication between scientists and non-scientists. Why are theologians opposed or concerned about string theory? Every time a new radical discovery comes out of quantum mechanics and atomic physics, the theologians come and start to debate us. When the uncertainty principle came out, for example, in around 1925, and chemistry book is wrong. Every chemistry book says the universe is made out of atoms. End of story, period. Wrong. The universe is made out of dark matter, and we think dark matter could be a higher vibration of the string. And we will create dark matter, we hope, with the Large Hadron Collider. So all theories are testable, including string theory.
Aspartic acid. Aspartic acid, symbol Asp(D). The ionic form is known as aspartate, is an alpha amino acid that is used in the biosynthesis of proteins. Like all other amino acids, it contains an amino group and a carboxylic acid. Its alpha amino group is in the protonated NH+3 form under physiological conditions, while its alpha carboxylic acid group is deprotonated -COO- under physiological conditions. Aspartic acid has an acidic side chain, CH2. COOH, which reacts with other amino acids, enzymes and proteins in the body. Under physiological conditions pH 7.4, in proteins the side chain usually occurs as the negatively charged aspartate form, -COO-. It is a non-essential amino acid in humans, meaning the body can synthesize it as needed. It is encoded by the codons GAT and GAC. In mRNA, CUA and CUG. Aspartic acid. Skeletal formula of L-aspartic acid. Ball and stick model. //fdasis.in. D-aspartate is one of 2 D amino acids commonly found in mammals. In proteins, aspartate side chains are often hydrogen bonded to form ASX turns or ASX motifs, which frequently occur at the N-termini of alpha helices. The L-isomer of asp is one of the 22 proteinogenic amino acids, i.e., the building blocks of proteins. Aspartic acid, like glutamic acid, is classified as an acidic amino acid, with a pK of 3.9, however in a peptide this is highly dependent on the local environment, and could be as high as 14. Asp is pervasive in biosynthesis. Because aspartate can be synthesized by the body, it is classified as a non-essential amino acid. Aspartic acid was first discovered in 1827 by Auguste Arthur Plisson and Eddie N. O'Sheen. Henry by hydrolysis of asparagine, which had been isolated from asparagus juice in 1806. Their original method used lead hydroxide, but various other acids or bases are now more commonly used instead. Safety data sheet. C. Data page. NFPA 704 Fire Diamond. Supplementary data page.
In parallel worlds, you write that 73% of the universe or the cosmos, whatever, is unknown energy. This is embarrassing. If you want to win a Nobel Prize, Giordano Bruno, a renegade Jesuit monk, who said that there are other life forms in outer space. For that, he was burned alive in the streets of Rome. Now we're saying that not only could there be other life forms in outer space, we're talking about a multiverse. universe of universes. Our universe could be just one bubble floating among other bubbles out there. And Stephen Hawking, my colleague, made headlines just last month by stating that maybe God isn't necessary anymore. Here's Stephen Hawking's reasoning. He says, first of all, that physicists are the only scientists who can say the word God and not blush. But if you want to see a physicist blush, ask him what happened before the Big Bang. Well, string theory is a theory of everything. If it's correct, it means you can go before the Big Bang, before creation itself. Maybe our bubble universe bumped into another universe, creating a bigger universe. Maybe it budded off, fission, peeled off a balloon that simply splits in half. Maybe that's the Big Bang. And then Stephen Hawking said, well, if this is perpetual and we don't need a God to set it into motion, then maybe God is unnecessary. Now, I take a different